And welcome to Artists for Belarus. We have an extraordinary evening lined up for you, and it's our great pleasure to be here to deliver it to you. It's quite an experiment because we are mixing media, we are mixing live performance with Zoom recordings and for Zoom Live. So I hope you will bear with us because there could be many technical hiccups because we've got a lot of performance. But it's an incredibly important evening because right now the people of Belarus have been through a year of quite extraordinary pressure as they fight against the tyranny of Lukashenko. So this is why we felt that it was really important to bring artists together, at least to give a message of support and also to widen the knowledge of what's going on. Because I think this is a problem that doesn't just affect Belarus, it affects the whole world, and we need to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start off the evening and just by reading a poem that was inspired by the artwork that a wonderful Minsk-based artist, Alessia Issa, created for this event. And it was an image of a cornflower, of a Vasiliok, dropped in the ground and covered in blood. So I'll start now. So bear with us, please, and forgive any technical deficiencies. We're doing our best, but it's nothing compared with what people are going through in Belarus. So give that a thought. Okay. Vasiliok, protest. Lay down your shield, the young girl said, and stand here next to me. Take the weight from off your shoulders and let yourself breathe free. Unstrap your heavy helmet, put it down without a sound to settle peacefully there amid the flowers strewn on the ground. I've no quarrel with you, man. You and I are family. This is our land, yours and mine. I'm not your enemy. Let's link arms and smile and sing as we walk here round and round. Let's revel in our freedom and strew flowers on the ground. It's summertime, and far away I can picture woods and fields where crops are now maturing, ready for their autumn yields. Cornflowers rising blue as the sky, with scarlet poppies crowned, as lovers make sweet moments in the flowers strewn on the ground. It's summertime, and here in Minsk the streets should bubble laughter, light footsteps on the pavements, and cafes filled with chatter. Yet here we are, you and me, in confrontation bound, and maybe you will crush me like the flowers strewn on the ground. The captain's ugly augured marks. Black shields advance in mesh, pushing brutal and relentless against soft human flesh. Momentary, the girls stand firm against the armoured plastic worm until suddenly, amid the crowd, a raucous thump unbearably loud, and the bursting, blasting, deafening, blinding stun grenade goes off. Women standing side by side scatter, shrieking, terrified, as the panic's magnified with a sharp cough, cough, as the vicious tear gas cloud spreads its stinging toxic cloud through the unprotected crowd. Fearful people scattering, flying, fearful people running, crying, fearful people staggering, stumbling, fearful people tripping, tumbling. And the young girl suddenly falls and her head cracks without a sound, and scarlet's mingling with the blue of the flowers strewn on the ground. The troopers leaning on his shield and breathing heavily. Job well done, the captain says. Go home and tell your family. Later, in bed, his head falls back and his heart begins to pound. His eyes brim and his mind's awhirl with the flowers strewn on the ground. Lay down your shield, didn't she say, and stand here next to me. Take the weight from off your shoulders and let yourself breathe free. Cornflowers, rising blue as the sky, with scarlet poppies crowned, as lovers make sweet moments in the flower strewn on the ground. I curse you, Lukashenko, for the damage that you've done, for the endless hurt and sadness you've brought on everyone. Belarusian pain is on your hands, and one day it will rebound to crush you like the fragile blue flowers strewn on the ground. Thank you. And now, Larissa Ratina will give you a few words.
Hello, everybody. I would like to greet you all here on our event. I'm happy you are here. For almost a year now, the people of Belarus have been demanding freedom and justice, fighting for human dignity despite increasingly brutal repressions. And with their courageous, peaceful resistance, they reminded us about enduring values, about something which is very important to us as well. So this event will now just spread not just spread information and give a possibility to send a message to support, but will highlight the ongoing call for justice worldwide. And I think it's very important. Now I'll tell a word for Russian people. Белорусы, которые отчаянно борются за свою свободу вот уже почти год, показали нам, что такое быть смелыми, стойкими и в то же время мирными. И это очень важная вещь, которую все мы по всему миру должны понять, должны усвоить и должны попытаться возродить эти ценности для себя. Поэтому этот вечер – это не только про Белоруссию, это про нас всех. Спасибо.
I'm straining with every last sinew, but today is just like yesterday. Got me cornered, got me in view, and they joyfully hunt down their prey. From the fir trees, the shots are bursting from the hunters' guns hid in the shade. On the snow, white snow, the wolves are tumbling their living targets. They're shooting arcade, the wolf hunt has begun. It's getting closer, veterans and cubs. Come on, wolves, let's go. The dogs bark till they're sick. The beaters loudly cry. Lines of red flags of blood upon the snow. It's as equals, hunters and wolves begin. But the hunters' hands will not shake. The line of red flags has blocked us in. So they beat loudly, make no mistake. There are customs wolves cannot break. Lessons learned as cubs, our lives defined. With every drop of mother's milk we take, we suck the rule, don't cross the red line. The wolf hunt has begun. It's getting closer, veterans and cubs. Come on, wolves, let's go. The dogs bark till they're sick. The beaters loudly cry. Lines of red flags of blood upon the snow. Our legs are fast. Our jaws are strong. Why, leader, tell us why we call. Why do they pursue us with shots so long when we aren't breaking any laws at all? But it was no choice, this is a law, and now my life will end the same. And now the one I am intended for lifts his gun and smiles and takes aim. The wolf hunt has begun, it's getting closer. Veterans and cubs, come on wolves, let's go. The dogs bark till they're sick, the beaters loudly cry. Lines of red flags of blood upon the snow. But I will break the red flag line. The force for life is stronger in me. And now I hear from far behind the hunter's guns following me. And I am straining with every sinew, but today is not like yesterday. Got me cornered, got me in view, but this time the hunters lost their prey. The wolf hunt has begun, it's getting closer. Veterans and cubs, come on wolves, let's go. The dogs bark till they're sick, the beaters loudly cry. Lines of red flags of blood upon the snow.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the organizers for organizing this, and I'm hugely grateful to everyone who is here tonight and would like to express my support to the people of Belarus who have fought in the 80s and 90s of the last century when we were drinking the freedom in Russia that 30 years later we will have to be ashamed of our country again. So I really would like to send my support and lots of strength to the people out there. And today I would like to sing to you a song which has become a protest song during these difficult times. And to give you a little bit of context for this song, I would like to sing it to you twice in two very different versions. You all know this song, it's Kupalinka. And being a folklorist myself, unfortunately, I'm not a specialist for the Belarusian tradition, but I know the Russian tradition well. So I'm going to sing you a traditional version of this song, just on the Russian side of the border. Culturally, the border is very transparent. It's a very special region where traditions and languages mix, and what you hear will be very similar on the other side of the border. Belarus is a particular gem in terms of traditional culture for us, the folklorists. So I just don't want to miss a chance to give you an idea where this song comes from. And the second version I'm going to sing you, I will try to keep it close to the original Pisniri version, and will invite you to sing with me if you would like to. So the traditional version is okay, let me see if I can get it right. I can't see myself here well. The traditional version is a ritual song, and this is this time of year where people sing basically to survive. So if they don't sing properly, the harvest will not come, and they won't have prosperity, they won't have food. So it's all about calling to creatures in the other world. And just very quickly what it is about. It is it says, Kupalinka, the dark night, where's your daughter? My daughter is in the garden, weeding the roses, pricking her fingers on the thorns and shedding tears. So maybe she's shedding tears because of the thorns, but maybe it's because it's coming to the end of her girlhood. Иван да Марья на горе Купаленка, Купаленка, ночь маленькая, Купаленка, ночка, ночка, а где твоя дочь? Okay, and now I will go into the version that you all know, I hope, and again. So I'll share the lyrics with you. If you don't want to read them and sing with me, look at me. And if you would like to, please mute what our microphones are. Oh, I can't share here. Okay, sorry about that. Then we'll have maybe the organizers could share the lyrics. Anyway, feel free to sing with me online with muted microphones if you have them on, because we won't be in sync with this technology. Sync. Kupalinka, Kupalinka,
Anna. Join
Oh yeah,
us.
hello. Sorry. Yeah, hi. Hi everyone. And thank you for inviting me I'm now gonna read for you from this anxious place, Minsk, a piece of prose that I wrote last autumn. And it's like a mosaic of what was going on. Can you hear me well? Yeah?
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. Okay. Well, do you feel like Anne Frank? Sasha asked me as we were hiding from the main Directorate for Combating Organized Crime and Corruption and Riot Police in the basements of a 5-story building in Minsk. I didn't feel like Anna Frank, but rather like my great-grandmother who was nearly shot dead by the Nazi Germans killing squads during World War II, along with her family and the whole village. A few more minutes and it could be over for them, and for me would never start. I would have remained in the stifling basements of genetic memory, birth trauma, injustice, and horror. But the partisans came to save the villagers, among whom was my great-grandmother, giving me a chance to get out of the basements to the corridors of boots and shields of the patriarchy, and from them into the partisans' forests. Face to the wall, what are you looking at? I always look around, especially when I hear sounds behind me. The sounds behind me may belong to a passerby, male or female, a raven beaking in the trash, a cat who must be afraid of me more than I'm afraid of these sounds, a tree rustling goodbye to a leaf. Sounds can also belong to my imagination or genetic memory. When my father learned I got detained, he said, I knew she'd end up a mess. It was he who all my childhood and youth had been setting distorted mirrors in the corridors through which I was struggling to find the way out of these basements. Mirrors which multiplied shields and stamping of boots. He watches movies about war and cops day and night, but it doesn't give him any courage. He might have never been brave, no matter how much I hoped to find something, a small thing in his biography that would make him a hero. But he wasn't a hero, like his parents during the war weren't. They were just people, who knows, maybe even such that I now blame for inaction, for continuing to live their lives and not joining the resistance. Dad's grandfather survived the war, but didn't return home. He died in 1947 somewhere far away, and where, I'll never find out, for those who could tell me aren't alive. I can only listen to the handful of soil my grandfather brought from his father's grave, but I may be disappointed with what I hear. What if he was a coward? Or what if he collaborated with the Nazis? What if I'm the only one resisting? The only hero in my whole family. My apartment is my shelter. Every time I leave it, even to take out the trash, I prepare myself that I might not return. Every time I go for a walk, I set a goal to return. As a motivation, I leave something that's a big deal for me unfinished. To have the strength to make the right choice. Run when staying is dangerous. Stand when running doesn't feel right. Keep walking when I feel like drifting away into the alleys and backyards into comfort. Not speak when those you're facing are deaf to what you want to say, and speak when there is hope to get through to them. But how do you know exactly what's right? Where is that line between caution and cowardice, between courage and recklessness? I was detained in the evening of September the 8th, 2020, near the Masharov Avenue in Minsk. Enraged, trapped women, we were defending ourselves as best we could by singing and screaming. Many of us could leave, retreat straight away, let those in uniforms take our men, beg to be let go, raise our hands, agree to the terms of the aggressors. We have the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and freedom of expression. My newly realized truth was spinning in my head. We have the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and freedom of expression. I thought, but said something different. Please don't leave. Leave us, just go. Please, please, please. I tried to be a good, sweet girl, to arouse pity in them. Some women on my left fall and pull me down. The military in olive uniform who I talk to is reaching out to help me get up. something strange, unexpected in his eyes. Is it confusion, compassion? A moment, click. I'm getting up, a different person. Why pretend to be a cute, good girl? I'm not 7 and this is not my dad. We can talk on an equal footing. And I'm shouting the truth to them in the language of human rights, the law which they don't understand. They no longer have power over me. I have power over myself. You can leave, they let go. But I myself decide whether I leave or stay. I'm my own voice and will and great-grandmother and the firing squad and partisans forests. I'm fucking fed up with you. A black Hulk grabs me by my elbow and takes me into the police van. But it's too late. I've already won. Thank you. That's this piece titled Courage. And I appreciate your listening and I appreciate the support for Belarus. We are in this together. Our fight is part of the big fight for justice and a better world. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name's Zoe and I'm coming to you from Switzerland. I want to join you all in standing with the people of Belarus against repression and dictatorship and hope that democratic justice will win out. Thank you, John and Larissa, for organising this event and for inviting me to be part of it. I'm going to sing you a song I wrote called The Deep. It's about the precarious political and environmental situation our world is in, but it does end with a note of hope for the future, and it felt fitting for tonight. So this is called The Deep. There's a chill in the evening. There's a whisper in the air that the gates below are opening, and it's us that built them there. So we hide in our houses, but it only buys us time while the earth around us crumbles and the bells they softly chime. Won't you please shine a light through my window, for the stars have gone to sleep. Now the devil's outside and there's nowhere to hide, and I hear my name called from the deep. He stands in the shadows and he wears a well-pressed shirt, and his shoes of shining leather press our faces in the dirt. There are countless more just like him, but one day we will be free. Till then I'll pick my battles and hope that he won't pick on me. Won't you please shine a light through my window, for the stars have gone to sleep. Now the devil's outside and there's nowhere to hide, Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to listen to us, and thank you for bearing with us through those complicated times. I brought this flag, which is a flag of Belarus, and if I were to unfold this flag somewhere in Minsk now, I will get arrested. I will be put into prison for 2, 5, 12, 14, 16 years. Doesn't matter. And probably, most likely, I will be tortured. I can be raped. I can be assaulted. I can be made to breathe in chlorine. I will have no medical attention if I am getting sick. If I have toothache, I will just stay with it. And that's what people endure now in Belarus. So this is really terrible. And I think we all need to understand it's the proper military conflict going on in Belarus. 35,000 people were already arrested and gone through torture, but that conveyor started working as it worked already once in the history during 1937, Stalin's regime. We are right back there. There are no mass murder yet, but there is no problem when people are losing their lives. We have people missing, we have people dying in prison just because they haven't been given medical assistance. We've got children in prison, women, grannies, mothers, fathers, students, doctors, lawyers, bankers. Whole country goes through it. So hopefully we will understand what to do. But right now, I think the only possibility is to put United Nations army in just to keep the peace and keep people alive. I'm going to read you some poetry translated by a very rich, the English woman. She was quite an eccentric woman who loved Belarusian language and loved Belarus, and I will read those poetries. They're quite short, so don't worry, it won't be too much, in Belarusian and in English. And I don't know which language was more challenging for me, Belarusian or English, because after 200 years of massive Russification in Belarus, since we became part of Russian Empire, Russian language was always trying to replace Belarusian, and the last 20 years of politics of Lukashenko practically killed all the Belarusian schools, and if you are speaking this language now in Belarus, you will be arrested. It's not allowed. And I obviously want to read it. Strangely enough, this poetry was written in 1912, and it is very interesting how close what is told in the poem to what we feel now in Belarus. I think the history is just repeating itself sometimes, because they're writing about leaving the country. They're writing about, both poetry of different poets are about being forced to go abroad because you are not welcome in your own home, because you cannot live in your own country because you are not suitable for that country, which is quite striking, to be honest. And if I will cry a little, bear with me. It does hurt. I will read first in Belarusian. It is written by Jakub Kolas. No, sorry, Янко Купала. Для земли прадядоў моих, Янко Купала. Я тебе, земля моя продкаў моих, не потраплю нічога жалеть на свете. На свет цэлы гатоў твой прыгон апеці і ўзнясці пасад на магілішчах твоих. Я тебе, душой рад бы сваёй сагрэці і карону сплесці сонца, зор залатых. На тебе корону ўзлажыць, каб хоць на миг засияла ты ў цяжка дабытым цвеце. За тебе загінуць гатоў я ў барацьбе. с крыўдай той, што цярпіш ад людзей і Бога, ад чужынца і ад сына свайго сляпога. Буду ў вечнай мучыцца жальбе і кляцьбе. І за гэта толькі прашу, малю цябе, не гані ты мяне ад свайго парога. And in English, this poem of Jakub Kolos is Janka Kupala. I must somewhere we have a big monument to Jakub Kolos in Belarus in Minsk, and my grandmother used to live nearby, so I do remember this place. For the land of my forebears, O land of those ancient forebears of mine, there is not in the world I'd not hasten to bring thee. To the whole world I'm ready to sing thee, to raise thee up a throne of those graveyards of thine. Happily with my soul I would breathe warmth within thee, or weave thee a crown from sun and stars' gold shine, and crown thee with it, though for one moment's time, for thee to shine in beauty all too hard for winning. For thee in the fray I'd perish readily, against the wrongs heaped on thee by man and God unkindly, by the stranger and by thine own son in his blindness. I will suffer endless grief and woes eternally, and for this I'll seek but one small thing from thee, that thou'lt not drive me out, but keep me here abiding. And now I will read poem from Maxim Bogdanovich, a very famous Belarusian writer. It's called Immigrant song. In Belarusian it is эмигрантская песня. Ёсць на свеце такія бадягі, што не вераць ні ў Бога, ні ў чорта. Ім прыемны стракатыя сцягі караблёў акіянскага порта. І няма ім каго тут пакінуць, бо нікога на свеце не маюць, усё ім роўна, ці жыць, ці загінуць, аднаго яны моцна жадаюць, пабываць у краях незнаёмых, ды зазнаць там і шчасця, і гора, і загінуць у хвалях салёных белапеннага сіняга мора. Але мы не таго мы шукаем. Не рассталіся б мы з нашым Але мы не таго мы шукаем, не таго на чужбіне нам трэба. Не рассталіся б мы з нашым краем, каб было дзеля нас у ім хлеба. І на вулцы пад грукат, пад гоман, дзе натоўп закруціўся рухавы, нам маячыцца вёсачка, Нёман, і агні партавыя лібавы. I will read it in English now. It's called Immigrant Song, written by Maxim Bogdanovich. There are in this world such far-rovers who believe not in God, not in devil, who delight in bright banners high over the ships that in ocean ports revel. They have none here to leave whom they cherish, for they have neither kin nor belongings. They care not if they live or they perish. On one sole aim are fixed all their longings: to visit land too far unsought for, to taste there of fortune and grieving, and to perish among the salt waters of blue seas where a wild foam is heaving. But we do not seek such a bounty. It is not far land we are needing. We would not have left our country if there had been bread for our feeding. And in clutter and noise of street roaming, while the crown ever... Right, sorry, one sec. I'll read it again. I need to... And in clutter and noise of streets roaming, where the crowd, ever restless, will streaming, we dream of the village, the Nyoman, and Libava, with harbor lights gleaming. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Actually, Libava, I was wondering what it is, because it is the place that I couldn't understand what it is. It's not in Belarus, it's in Lithuania. It's a port in Lithuania that in those days where he was writing was still part of the country. He remembered it was his. Yes. Thank you.
The mysterious sound. That technology will beat us. Oh my God.
Anna, we still can't hear you. Anna, we will move to a much longer section, and if you can sort it out in the middle, that would be great. I'm sorry, Anna. Thank you. Oksana, are you ready for us?
Yes, we do. Hello to everybody.
It's ready, we're here.
Yes. Can we start? Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andrei Kuraychik. I am a playwright and director from Minsk, Belarus. But as well, I am a member of Coordinating Council of Belarus. Unfortunately, now I left my country because of possibility of to be arrested, and it's really a sad situation because my family is divided. My children and my wife still in Minsk, and of course it's very nervous for me. I would like to tell you about two projects very shortly. The first one called the play Insulted Belarus, or better to say Insulted Belarusia, because we use this euphemism in our country, because the name, how you pronounce the name of the country, shows are you really like Russian oriented or European oriented. The play was written right in the middle of the events of August 2020. It's a kind of emotional, my emotional reaction, and I didn't know what should I do with this play in that situation, but fortunately, I sent it to John Friedman, fantastic translator and fantastic journalist and theater manager, and we started the global project of solidarity with Belarusian artists by making readings of this play in many, many countries and on many, many languages. And now we had more than like 200 events of this play in different theaters from Sweden to Nigeria, from Hong Kong to Los Angeles. But then I understood that I should write something else. And I understood that we have a unique opportunity to give voices for the real characters, to real people. And I made a verbatim text, which called Voices of Belarus. And today it will be like its first presentation. It's letters, stories, and interviews of real participants of that events, like very simple people from different professions, and as well well-known people like Maria Kolesnikova or Nikolai Statkevich, who are now in prison because of these political repressions. So it's just, I didn't put any single word from me in this text. It's just a pure verbatim, pure stories of people. I think they tell even more than any mind of playwright could produce. Truth is much stronger sometimes than any imagination. So I would like to give the word to John Friedman to keep this topic.
Okay, thank you, Andrei. Andrei explained how he and I have been working for the last year very well. Indeed, the Worldwide Readings Project of Andrei Kuraychik's Insulted Belarus has reached, oh goodness, it's probably up to 750,000 people all over the world, over 130 countries, translations into 25 languages almost. We're getting up there, and in fact, with Andrei's new play, we've added 10 more translations that people are working on. They're not done yet because he just sent us the play, but it's a massive project that is intended to keep the topic of Belarus in front of the English-speaking world. Because as you have heard from other people already this evening, the situation is dire. It's dangerous, it's horrible. And I will now read a small piece of Andrei's new play in which you will hear one of the reasons why things are so terrible. This is the 14th and last voice in Andrei's piece that is called The Voices of Belarus. And I will now read from his text in English. Witold Ashurek, a social and ecological activist, age 50, September 19, 2020, and May 21, 2021. First arrest, August 9, 2020. Ashurek was sentenced to 20 days in jail. Arrested again on September 19 and charged with violating 2 articles of the Criminal Code, sentenced to 5 years in prison. He died May 21, 2021, as a result of inhuman conditions in his cell at colony number 17 in the town of Shklov. The official cause of death was cardiac arrest, but Witold Ashurek's body was released to his family with his head covered in bandages. My dearest Mummy, I received your letter yesterday before lights out, and I read it over and over again. It's short, just a few words, but it's so emotional and heartrending that my heart aches to read it. I miss you too, Mummy. People are wrong to say you don't need a mother when you are an adult. I remember everything about how you raised Andrei and me, how you wanted us to grow up to be decent people. Right now, it is very important for me that you be healthy and that you be joyful for your children and grandchildren. It happened as you planned. You brought Andrei and me up well. Nobody will ever dare accuse you that your sons are thieves or crooks. On the contrary, I was sent to prison precisely because I told the truth and encouraged others not to make peace with bullies. Mummy, had I not led the revolution in Lida, I probably would never have been able to respect myself And if you no longer respect yourself, how can you expect others to respect you? Whoever would respect us Belarusians, if no single person among our 135,000 people in Lida had been willing to take on the responsibility of rising up in defense of the truth? Mummy, people respect me. You raised me correctly. Fortunately, there are marvelous people among us, and they have supported me wholeheartedly. Now that I am temporarily in prison, people support me even more. They send me letters and postcards, send me packages and money, subscribe to newspapers for me, pray for me in all of Belarus's cathedrals and churches. I receive so many letters that I'm barely able to answer them all. I'm even suspending my study of English so as to answer more letters. They write to me from Berezovka and Lida, from Grodno and Minsk, from Brest and Vitebsk, from Mogilev and Gomel. Belarusians who have emigrated but still worry about their homeland write to me from Great Britain. Belarusians write me from Belgium, Finland, and the US. There are even Brazilian Belarusians. Yesterday evening alone, I received 17 letters. People send telegrams of support. The whole world is proud of us and supports us. I hear from Catholic priests in Minsk and Vitebsk who wish me happy Easter and write of their support and admiration for our refusal to make peace with lies. Mummy, people respect me. You raised me right. I am certain that people on the streets of Berezovka say the very same things to you. Remember, Mummy, make no mistake, I will come home. Be strong, Mummy. Have faith. I will not spend 5 years in prison. Change is coming. It will bring freedom to me, and it will bring me home to you. Remember, Mummy, I will come home without fail. Big, big hugs. Your son, Witold. Oksana?
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oksana Mysina. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I don't see myself. Is it okay? Yes, I can see. Everything is okay. I would like to read one of the voices from Andrei Kuraychik's play, The Voices of Belarus. This is number 3. Maria Kolesnikova, musician, one of the most important figures of the revolution in Belarus. Age 39, September 7, 2020. Political prisoner, kidnapped by Belarusian special forces on September 7. He was kidnapped on the 7th of September in the center of Minsk. Many of us knew that such crimes were happening, but this incident displayed the full cynicism, lawlessness, and criminality of Belarus's police force. In order to maintain the power of a single individual in the center of Europe, they subjugate dissidents to kidnappings, beatings, torture, murder. These crimes are anonymous and they go unpunished. But the individuals standing behind them have very specific jobs, specific state structures. I will now speak their names loud. After my abduction, I was dragged by force into the office of N. Karpenkov, the head of Kupalinka, the Belarusian Special Police Forces. He yelled, insulted, and threatened me. In his office, two other gentlemen, Kuraychik, first deputy minister of the police, and A.U. Pavlichenko, head of the Operation and Analysis Center, engaged me in what we might call a conversation. They delivered an ultimatum. I would leave the country, and once abroad, I could do whatever I pleased, or they would throw me out alive or in pieces. They would break my fingers and shut me up in prison for 25 years. Our riveting conversation lasted late into the night. Did I understand that I bore responsibility for those being beaten and killed, not those who gave orders? They cannot accept the idea that the Belarusian people want a different life, are ready for change, take responsibility for their own future and for the future of their children. We are Belarusians. We are a full-fledged nation, not just an assemblage of people. We live in the center of Europe, not on some random chunk of land. And we can change everything. You are incredible. I'm worried that if the violence continues, the authorities would not find the strength or courage to hear the will of the people and will not put an end to this absolute evil. I'm afraid that the further the authorities rely on violence, the more difficult it will be for us to return to peace. For in the end, the regime will fall and we will all have to live here together, both those who perpetrated the beatings and imprisonment and those who were beaten and imprisoned. I have not lost heart. I will not do so in the future. Everyone has will and strength. Each of us can change everything. It is very important to understand this and not give up. Do not give up. I do not reject for the moment my decision to remain in Belarus. I do not fear criminal persecution or prison. I'm absolutely certain that those committing crimes are the ones who must be afraid. We are strong, we're brave and wise. We're together, and love is stronger than fear. Thank you very much.
I just want to express my appreciation to all people who now in these difficult times anyway find the opportunity to support Belarusians. I should say that today in Belarus, Lukashenko started the process of liquidation of PEN Center, the major writers organization in Belarus, which is headed by Svetlana Alexievich, Nobel Prize winner. Lukashenko wants to liquidate
It's the last independent writers organization. So I think for us, it's so important to talk about Belarus in this time, because people there sometimes has no possibility to give their voices, and we now deliver these voices to people abroad. Thank you very much to everybody.
I've just, only just really started to realize the parallels between the situation in Belarus and that in Stalinist Russia. Thank you very much, Vera, for that. And thank you for letting us hear the music of the language. We didn't realize it, you know, I really didn't. So the first song was a Vladimir Vysotsky's song. It had been translated from the Russian by John Fondon, which dealt with pursuit, entrapment and escape. This is another Vysotsky song, again translated by John, which deals with the degeneracy of the government. It's very short, so. And in honor of Vladimir Vysotsky, who never tuned his guitar, I haven't retuned this. So if it's out of tune, it's out of tune. Smithereens! The crown is smashed to smithereens, no throne or ruler to be seen. Russia's life and laws has been shot to hell. And we, forced into holes in the ground, like poor thieves we are found. Blood and shame are mixed and bound, just as well. Yes, we have no bloody clue who to join and who to screw, who's in our bastard crew, where to go or what to do. This all sucks. There's no spirit, no honor, no shame. Who's one of us and one of them? How is it that this mess came, and does no one give a damn? Russia's fucked. Shame on all those peace-loving shits, on those who just can't commit, those who can't choose if it's fit to kill. Look out! Let the wolf, let the bear, let the hawk's talons tear, just invite the crows down there for a fill. And you, where's your old firmness, where's your old confidence? All you've got is meanness and a pistol in your hand. It's gone, damn it, it's gone. It's all battered and shattered. There's only one thing matters. Put your gun up to your brow and shoot your enemy now. Thank you.
Hi there, this is Modis Gedik and I'm performing a song with my friend İhsan Güvercin from Turkey. This song is about resisting, so please, people from Belarus, resist and stay strong. We are supporting you from Turkey, Spain and Germany. Thank you and goodbye.
İçmişim sarhoşam bugün, tamam dilim vallahi. İçmişim sarhoşam bugün, tamam dilim vallahi. Yâriyle hoşam bugün, unuttum ölüm vallahi. Yâriyle hoşam bugün, unuttum ölüm vallahi. Girsem boynuna gömleksiz. Girsem boynuna gömleksiz, uyusa da sevsem sessiz, uyansa dese edepsiz, çekememelim vallahi. Uyansa dese edepsiz, çekememelim vallahi. Latife çok hayasız Latife çok hayasızım, çok severem, çok yüzsüzem, Arnamus'tan habersizem, çalaram sazım vallahi, Arnamus'tan habersizem, çalaram sazım vallahi, Arnamus'tan habersizem, çalaram sazım vallahi.
Well, we seem to have lost. We seem to have lost Alessia.
So, Tatiana.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. I'm a poet and journalist. I work for Radio Liberty. And I remember with what excitement my sons and I followed the events in Belarus. And now my heart is with the Belarusians who want to achieve the freedom, go to prisons for this and tortured. My poems are about Russia, but about Belarus too, because we have about the same problems, I think. И не мечтай, война не кончена, она еще не началась. Опять проверенные гончие нас загоняют в кровь и грязь. Уехавшим да будут легкими и непостыдными пути. Мы не обидим их упреками, но нам-то некуда идти. И потому дворами пыльными по всей захваченной стране стоим, как перед фермопилами, спина к спине, спина к спине. Не воскреснет Россия, пока не умрет, докатившись до срама, до вора на троне, разбазарив богатство и честь и народ, пробиваясь сквозь щели травой на перроне. Только поезд уже не идет никуда, ни на юг, ни на север, ни в райские кущи. Проплывают над ним облаков города, провода с воробьями и дождик секущий. Нет, уже не воскреснет Россия пока, как зерно не зароется в хилый суглинок. Прорастут ли ее городов облака посреди пустырей и культей тополиных, непонятно, но воздух, как порох, горюч, и откуда-то звук долетает нечеткий. Это прошлое, запертое на ключ, воет яростно и сотрясает решетку. Быстро мелькают красные спицы, катится солнце. Вслед за поэтом ходит убийца, тихо коснется дерзких октав, схоронившись за дверью, терций речистых, чтобы не слышать в ворохе перьев щелканье свиста, чтобы алфавит осыпался, как листья, корчился лежа. Вот и за Диму придется молиться, как за Алешу. In this poem, Dima is Navalny and Alyosha, no, Dima, sorry, is Bykov, and Alyosha, of course, is Navalny. And the last poem. Господи, пощади наш Содом, в этом Содоме мой дом, теплые заспанные тела, детей, компьютер, кошка и метель под утро мела. Я, конечно, не Авраам, чтоб говорить с тобой, но за крестами оконных рам уж какие ни есть корявенькие, тоже найдутся праведники. Продавщица из пирожковой Валя, учительница забыла, как звали, доктор Нина Ивановна, дворник Фирус, ошибиться боюсь, но хотя бы 5, но хотя бы 10. Интересно, смогут они перевесить весь этот пухлый ворох воров, прокуроров, судей, гэбистов, или суд твой будет неистов, всех отдашь огню палачу. Все, молчу, молчу. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tatiana. There, don't come back for a moment while I read your verses in English. Okay, don't worry. I will read them and imagine Tatiana there, please, in English. Back to back. Don't even dream the war's not done. It has not yet begun. The proven hounds, just as before, push us back to mud and gore. Those who've left, may they blow easy and not with shame. We'll not batter them with blame, but we have nowhere else to go. Therefore, through the captured country, in dusty courtyards, in city cracks, we stand as before Thermopylae, back to back, back to back. Russia won't rise. No, Russia won't rise until it has died, sunk by the throne thief in a sump of shame. Wealth, honor squandered, people cast aside, then like grass pushing up through the cracks again. So for now, our train is heading nowhere, neither north nor south, nor paradise plain. Our cloud cities are drifting by through the air, birds perch on wires, whipped by the rain. No, Russia will not rise until its seed is buried deep in the fragile earth, until cloud cities sprout from wasteland weed and stumps of poplars give new birth. Hard to grasp, but the air is charged like gunpowder, crackling and fizzing. This is our past, locked out and submerged, a howling fury shaking the grating. The third poem, it's Red Knitting Needles. Red knitting needles, quickly flickering, and the sun rolling, and the poet with his killer quietly following. He's barely touching, hiding behind the door, killing bold octaves, sweet thirds to stifle this meth of feathers, this twitting, warbling bird, and until, like leaves, all our letters crumble, writhe, and tumble. So we need to pray for Dima and for Alyosha, it seems. And the last poem, Sodom. Lord, please spare our Sodom. This Sodom, it is my home. My children's bodies sleep and warm. My computer, my cat, the morning snowstorm. I'm no Abraham, I know, but to speak with you, but outside my window, though they may be awkward, there are also people who are good. The woman from the pie shop, Valia, that teacher, his name I can't recall. No, Dr. Ivana, Ferus, the janitor. I'm afraid to make an error. Well, at least 5. No, maybe 10. I wonder they can outweigh again
all this swollen, rotting heap of thieves, of prosecutors, of judges, and officers of the KGB. If not, your judgment will be brutal. You will hurl us all to the fire in your might. Okay, I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. And that's Tatiana Volskaya's verse.
Jan, thank you very much for your translation of my verses.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we've lost Alicia. So, Rachel,
Are you ready?
The streets are black, covered with the rain of last night's tears, with the blood of last night's beatings. My worn shoes are wet. A shuffling sound from close by. An old man wanders through the emptiness. He has age my son will never know. He stares at me with rabbit in the headlight eyes and walks by. Further down the concrete cold streets I go, deeper into the labyrinth of this dying city, down, down, down into the underworld. Crudely, violently, the lights of dark angels shine forth and guide the way. I know I will hear it, but I walk on. I see the bloody block before me, with its peering, lifeless eyes, with its wired for cruelty veins and its smooth, pain-soaked walls. I am back in time now. I'm sitting quietly at home, a new mother waiting for her baby's cry. Silently, pitifully, I lean forward, fists clenched, brow knitted tight. Then it comes. Out of the dark, piercing through walls, shattering time, I hear it. Every mother knows its baby's cry. Every mother runs to be by its side, but I cannot run. Dark walls forbid me from doing so. Dark forces will not let me. So I go there, in my mind. I go deep, deep down into myself and connect with all my might through blood and sinew and bone and stench and filth. I arrive in a place only he and I will know. It is a private place, safe and warm, not hell on earth. There is only softness here, and comfort. I feel the song returning. Da da da da da da da. Da da da da da da da. Da da da da da da da. Da da da da da da. Hush, little one, don't you cry. Safe is your heart 'neath in the dark starlit sky. Fear nothing more, my love surrounds you, come what may. Lay down your weary head, child. Lay down your weary head. Now close your eyes, sweet lullabies gently come. Let us fly high 'neath starlit skies heavenly one. All is at peace, nothing will hurt you. I am here. Lay down your weary head, child. Lay down your weary head.
Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of tonight's event, and my apologies for not being able to be and sign in live. So sending you this quick video to share a poem, send my love and solidarity to everyone in Belarus who's fighting for rights to be free and for true democracy. And I'll share a couple of personal things about myself. So I'm Diva, and I was born on the days of the Singing Revolution in 1989 in Lithuania. I am extremely grateful for the people who fought for my country's freedom because it gave me absolute, limitless choice for the rest of my life. I am very aware that fight was difficult, and that it is very difficult, but it is possible. And I just want to say to the people in Belarus that we are aware of what's happening, we see you, we hear you, we support you. And the poem I'm going to share tonight is called The Wall, from the poem by French writer Simone Gonjo, Closed Clans, and the poem is called The Wall. The Wall. On one side, migrants and their smugglers, polos and poleras. On the other, armed patrols, citizens, militias, angels of the desert. On both sides, waiting. The waiting again. The opportunity will have to be seized as soon as it appears. The opportunity to cross, to be caught, pushed back to the other side, to cross over again, to try to pass again, to get caught again, to try again. You can sometimes try up to 25 times before you reach your destination. Overall, almost everyone reaches their destination, so you will get there. You will get there unless you die along the way or run out of cash too soon. If you're a woman, be careful. They'll try to persuade you to get back on track by using your body. Be careful. Don't give in. Find your allies. Travel together. You will get there. If you fail, you'll have to stay there, sentenced to remain in the cesspit surrounding the wall. Illegal, with no money and with no future. So you're going to cross, okay? You will cross. You have 3 attempts. If you fail, find your smuggler. You have 3 attempts. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. It only takes 7 minutes. Everything looks bigger on the maps. You are precious goods for the people merchant, so don't be afraid. Behind the wall is Interstate 5, a highway. 8 lanes at night, at speed, no light. To alert drivers and prevent accidents, they marked the path with traffic signs. Caution! Illegal migrants crossing. You will see a man, a woman and a child holding hands, running, haggard, on the traffic sign. Behind Interstate 5, the desert, scorching by day, up to 46 degrees in summer, freezing at night. Dangerous animals, scorpions, tarantulas, rattlesnakes mostly. You are thirsty, you're hungry. At night, you're cold. Everything exhausts you, the walking especially. You must walk. In your arms, a 4-liter can of water. You must walk. It's between 15 and 100 kilometers, depending on the roads, depending on the price. You must reach the truck. There are your companions for the crossing. There are the smugglers guiding you into the unknown. There's the group. No one else. Understand? There must be no one else. If you see a silhouette in the desert, or smoke, or a light, hide and be silent.
Okay, well, Anna's back with us, and we hope she's going to join us.
Hi, hello. It's been a long journey. Боже мой, my God.
Ура, наконец-то.
Ура! Рад слышать.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anna. I was born in Minsk and now I live and work in Moscow. Last September, I took part in a rally in Minsk and was arrested. After that, my entrance to Belarus was closed for 5 years. This year marks the 180th anniversary of the birth of the famous Belarusian writer Frantisek Bogoshevich, a famous figure of the Belarusian national revival and the founder of the new Belarusian literature. Bogoshevich was born in 1840 in the family of the nobleman Kazimir Bogoshevich. He received his primary education in the Vilna High School and entered the faculty of physics and mathematics and at St. Petersburg's University. However, 2 months later, he was expelled for participating in student unrest. Returning to his homeland, he worked as a teacher. Frantisek Bogoshevich took an active part and was wounded in the uprising of 1863-1864 under the leadership of Kastus Kalinowski. Fleeing repression, after the end of the uprising, Bogoshevich was forced to hide before moving to Ukraine. In his poem In Prison, which I will read now, he described events that are very similar to what is happening in Belarus now. One hears revival in poets' work. Frantisek Bogoshevich was the first Belarusian writer to defend his native language as a full-fledged human and noble language, suitable for expressing all thoughts and feelings. У Острозе паперы прыйшлі у турму с окружного. Что зараз зачнется суд после коляд? Сядела ж там нашего брата, и много было и невинных помежи наш шмат. Был пан, что у банку крал гроши чужие. Был писар, что выдал паперы благие. Я сам тут сидел, а за что? Каб спытали, дык я б не сказал, и яны бы не знали. И писано так, что стробил живый знак. Колок на капцы был гнилый, як бурак. При поле моим не стырчал так, як скула, наехал кобылой, и слуп той звернула. Каб жа люльку палить было чым, не красавши. Огонь разложил, той колок пощапавши. Приехал до дому, посеявши гречку, закинул кобыле, забрался на печку, на завтра, проспавшись в ранку, а спал не тая. Такие-то люди урадника били, тягали за груди, признались сами, и як, и чим били, и знали и сами, что закон проступили. Супроти начальства законной уласти измовились вёской урадника укласти. Зачиншик жа я, або я той колок спалил, а других я у бунт уволок. Дык мяне у астрог той же час заперти. И судить найстражей по великой статьи. Законы ж, аж думашки нашего брата, як ноч, а то день. Гэта будни, то свято. Вот гэтых законов понять я не мог. За гэта ж цяпер я попаўся у астрог. Цяпер ужо тут дык мне і вочы працёрлі. Пазнаў, як у бацькаву хату запёрлі. Отож і завуць і мяне на той суд. Вучыць шанаваць і начальства, і кнут, і слуп, што гніець, стаячы ля дарог. Бо начо кнут і слуп, то дай Бог. First, his is the song Destaca by the Catalan artist Lluís Llach. It's translated from the Catalan pillar, which symbolized the protest against the dictatorship of Francisco Franco in Spain. In 1978, the Polish bard Jacek Kaczmarski revered it and set it to the melody of Lluís Llach. This version of the wall quickly became the anthem of Poland's main opposition union, Solidarity. It was first performed in Belarusian in Independence Square in Minsk by Andrei Khadanovich during the December 2010 protest. During the protest action in the Republic of Belarus in 2020, the song became the anthem of resistance. Dear friends and colleagues, thank you for coming and supporting our cause for freedom and justice. Although Belarusian language may not be familiar to some of you, please listen to this melody. И он был нахненный и молодый, их незлеченно было. И он на площади вел городы за песней, что близко светло. И запаливали свечки ему, плыл понад площадью дым. И он спявал, зруйнуем турму, яны спявали за им. Разбуры, турмы, муры, прагнеш свободу, то бяры. Мур хутка рухне, рухне, рухне, и поховае свет старый. Оксаночка.
Руки мои в морщинах, с тех пор прошло много лет, а сил все меньше и меньше, а стенам износу нет. И я знаю, они гнилые, но сложно их одолеть. Когда не хватает силы, и я прошу тебя спеть, давай разрушим эту тюрьму. Здесь этих стен стоять не должно, так пусть они рухнут, рухнут, рухнут, обветшавшие давно. И если ты надавишь плечом, и если мы надавим вдвоем, то стены рухнут, рухнут, рухнут, и свободно мы вздохнем.
Так повстал шмахтысячный рух, воинов целая рать. Можно помники зносить и брук на камяні разбирать. Кожний адчув, прийшов його час силы отдать в боротьбе. Хто не з нами, той супроть нас, спявак был сам по себе. Глядел, як щільныя рады з ягонай песняй ідуть. А песня глухне, глухне, глухне, а муры растут и растут. Разбуры, турмы, муры, прагнеш свободу, бяры. Мур хутка рухне, рухне, рухне, и поховае свет старый. Разбуры, турмы, муры, прагнеш свободы, то бяры. Мур хутка рухне, рухне, рухне, и поховае свет старый.
The language of my protest, the fire of my resistance, may burn twice as strong and twice as terrible in retaliation. It tears to pieces the web of 100 conspiracies. It brings freedom, brings light, brings meaning to hundreds, thousands, millions of souls. In the poison of every breath, I breathe the language of the world's exploited, like a terrible explosion that comes in a roar of destruction. I am the companion of revolution and rebellion everywhere. I am committed to the struggle for the freedom of humankind. My blood flows in many countries, in many ports, in 100 deserts and caverns, on the peaks of mountains. In the search for peace and unity, it brings freedom, brings light, brings meaning to hundreds, thousands, millions of souls. The language of my protest, the fire of my resistance.
Hi everyone, I'm Sohini Alam.
Oliver Weeks.
We're from the band Kio, and the lyrics that you just heard were from the Bengali song Amar Protibader Bhasha, or the language of my protest. We are sorry that we could not be there with you in person today, but we are happy that we could express our solidarity with the artists for Belarus through this song. And this is a Bengali song by Sholil Chaudhary. Our performance of it is from a while ago, filmed live at Tara Theatre, and we hope that you enjoy it.
আমার প্রতিবাদের ভাষা, আমার প্রতিরোধের আগুন দ্বিগুণ জ্বলে যেন দ্বিগুণ দারুণ প্রতিশোধে করে চূর্ণ ছিন্ন ভিন্ন শত ষড়যন্ত্রের জাল যেন আনে মুক্তি আলো আনে আনে লক্ষ্য শত প্রাণে শত লক্ষ্য প্রতি প্রাণে আমার প্রতিবাদের ভাষা আমার প্রতিরোধের আগুন আমার প্রতি নিঃশ্বাসের বিষে বিশ্বের বঞ্চনার ভাষা দারুণ বিস্ফোরণ যেন ধ্বংসের গর্জনে আসে আমার প্রতি নিঃশ্বাসের বিষে বিশ্বের বঞ্চনার ভাষা দারুণ বিস্ফোরণ যেন ধ্বংসের গর্জনে আসে যত বিপ্লব বিদ্রোহের আমি সাথী যত বিপ্লব বিদ্রোহের আমি সাথী আমি মাতি যুদ্ধে হেথায় সেথায় মানুষের মুক্তির বিপন্নতায় আমি মাতি যুদ্ধে হেথায় সেথায় মানুষের মুক্তির বিপন্নতায় আমারই রক্ত ঝরে দেশে দেশে বন্দারে শত মরু কাণ্ডরে গৌরী শিখায় আমারই রক্ত ঝরে দেশে দেশে বন্দারে শত মরু কাণ্ডরে গৌরী শিখায় মিলনের তীর্থের সন্ধানে আনে মুক্তি আলো আনে আনে লক্ষ্য শত প্রাণে শত লক্ষ কোটি প্রাণে আমার প্রতিবাদের ভাষা আমার প্রতিরোধের আগুন
This is, I'm going to be facing this camera actually later, but this is an extract from The Great Second-Hand Time by Svetlana Alexievich, and it's right at the end of the book when she, the final section is about Belarus. And this is two pieces that are put together. So you might notice there's a slight difference in tone. It's not about this last election. She's writing about the 2010 election. It's always the same scenario. Things keep going in circles. The people are a herd of antelopes. And the government is a lioness. The lioness picks out a victim from the herd and kills it. The rest keep chewing the cud, watching the lioness as she's picking out her next victim. Once she's bagged her prey, they all sigh with relief. It wasn't me, it wasn't me.
I can go on living. Do you really think that the only thing holding all this together is fear? The police with their clubs? You're wrong. The victim and the executioner have an agreement, silent pact, a contract, the great unspoken agreement. The people understand everything, but they keep quiet. And in return, they want better salaries, the ability to buy at least the used Audi, to go on holiday to Turkey. My interrogator was an educated man. He graduated from the same university as me. Why, he said, did you have to become one of my problems? I'm used to dealing with corrupt officials. You know where you are with them, but you. He was doing his job reluctantly. He was ashamed, but still, it didn't stop him. There are thousands of people like him. Officials, detectives, judges. Some do the beating, others spread lies in the press. Some arrest people, others pass sentence. You need so little to start up the Stalinist machine. We went for fun. It wasn't serious. We were laughing, singing. Some of us carried posters, others came with guitars. No, there was no fear. Our rights are clearly laid out in the Constitution. Freedom of assembly, protest, rallies, freedom of speech. There are laws. People laugh at us, calling Minsk a communist capital, the last dictatorship in Europe. Now I can at least be proud of the fact that we went out there. We hadn't been afraid. That's the most important thing. That's what's most important. We stood there, us and them, face to face. It must have been a very strange sight. One side came with posters, and the other was in full military regalia, with shields and clubs. Were they really about to start beating me, beating us? But they were my age, my contemporaries. We laughed, teased them, tried to provoke them. You boys really about to fight the people? As the snow kept falling and falling. Later, the boys in my village told me that they teach them the worst that can happen is if you see the demonstrators as human beings. They train them like dogs. They'd missed the football match that day. They'd been kept locked up in lorries under tarpaulin. They had to pee in plastic bags and condoms. So when they were finally released, they came out hungry and full of rage. Maybe deep down, they weren't such bad people, but they did the work of executioners. Minor cogs in a big machine. They're not the ones who decide whether or not to beat us, they just do the beating. I should hate them, but I don't want to hate anyone. I'm not ready for that. They say But if you want to understand all this, you have to read Solzhenitsyn. When I was at school, I took Gulag Archipelago out from the library, but it seemed as distant from my reality as the Trojan War. What's the first thing that happens to you in jail? Well, they empty the contents of your bag out onto a table. What's that feel like? What? It's as though they're undressing you. And then they literally undress you. Take off your underwear, spread your legs, shoulder width, squat. What were they looking for in my anus? Yes. During interrogation, you have to write, I fully acknowledge my guilt. But what am I guilty of? What don't you understand? You participated in a mass riot. But it was a peaceful protest. Give us names. Sign this. Name names. They promised me that no one would ever know, that they'd let me go home. I had to make a choice. I'm not signing anything. At night I'd cry. It's so easy to become a traitor. I used to live in a good, kind country, but it doesn't exist anymore, and it never will again. I ended up spending a month in jail. We all stank. There was nowhere for us to wash. Somebody had a tiny bottle of perfume. We passed it around, sniffing it. For some reason, I kept remembering little things. A new dress I hadn't had a chance to wear. What did I learn? I learned that happiness can come from something as small as a bit of sugar or a piece of soap. In a cell intended for 5 people, it was 32 square meters. There were 17 of us. You had to learn to fit your entire life into 2 square meters. There was no air to breathe. It was stifling. We couldn't sleep, so we sat up talking. For the first few days, we discussed politics. But after that, we only ever talked about love.
To perform today is called Żurawli, which translated to English is cranes, and the lyrics was written by poet Rasul Gamzatov, and the translation that I'm going to also include today is made by John Farrington. I'm going to perform it in Russian and in English, and it's one of the most known Russian songs about the World War II, and as I was born in Belarus, I'm very familiar, unfortunately, with the situation, and I wanted to dedicate the song to everyone who has ever been and who is fighting for peace, for what is right, and for the truth. Sometimes I feel like all the fallen soldiers who never left the bloody fields of war. We're not buried in the earth to slowly molder, but transformed to white grains forevermore. From ancient times the white birds have been flying. They glide above us from the highest sky. Perhaps it's why we're often silently sighing when we stand still and look up at the sky. Летит, летит по небу клин усталый, летит в тумане на исходе дня, и в том строю есть промежуток малый. Быть может, это место для меня. Настанет день и с журавлиной стаей я поплыву в такой же сизой мгле из-под небес, по птичьи окликая всех тех, кого оставил на земле. Sometimes I feel like all the fallen soldiers who never left the bloody fields of war. We're not buried in the earth to slowly molder, but transformed to white grains forevermore.
Ben.
I will play one song, and it's called You Must Believe in Spring. It's originally by Michel Legrand.
This is taken from Insulted Belarus. We had the incredible privilege of doing a Zoom reading of it at the end of March, and yes, and it's lived with us ever since. So this is for the people of Belarus.
I just have one question in my head. What will people do for love? In the past, I would have said anything. Now, I'm not so sure, not just anything. Would you die? Sometimes that might be the easiest thing to do. You die and you're gone. No more choices. The sacrifice is made. You gave your life, fulfilled your mission. But what if you want to live? But live for whom? For yourself? For your country? I'm president and I have nothing. I'm in control of nothing, myself included.
Okay, everyone, listen. I'm giving instructions. Now, get this right. Here are the numbers to memorize. This is how the count will go. You take a ballot and you show it to the person on your right. Lydia is on my right. I show it to her and I put it in the pile. I know that my pile must have 206 ballots, so I build it up to 206. Now, Kristalina is supposed to have 1,361, which will be President Lukashenko's pile. Memorize the numbers for each candidate and put that precise number in your pile. Everything left over is declared void, defective, and that's that. Now, these are the numbers to memorize. Tikhanovskaya, 200. Memorize it, don't write it down. 206.
1361, President Alexander Lukashenko. Dmitriev, 52. Kanapatskaya, 73, and Kurakin, 59. All against, 100. You see how nice and even it is?
Hey, listen, you bastards. My name is Nikita Mitskovich. Mitskovich. Remember that name. Because it's the name of someone who isn't afraid of you. This is my country. Belarus is my country, and this is my city. And this is me, Nikita Mitskovich, sheet metal worker. Fuck, I can't see a thing. There's blood everywhere.
A phone call woke me up. My sister from Borisov called. She said that that her son is missing. He's a metal worker, a good boy. Nikita. Well, a little wild perhaps, but she called and said that he had left home 2 days ago, and there's been no news since. She called all the hospitals, all the police stations, but he's nowhere to be found. Svetlana's son has disappeared too, and Vera Nikolaeva, well, she's from school. I said that they had no business being out on the street at a time like that. Now my daughter, Alina, see, now she sits at home and reads books. She keeps out of trouble. Alina! Alina! Where are you, sweetheart? Where? Alina? Oh, won't answer her phone. Damn! Takes after her father. He always had to do things his own way, and she does too. Where am I? Damn Valium. You shouldn't do things your own way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do what they say. Clench your teeth. Do what they say. Well, all right. Let her run wild a bit. Teachers understand that.
What will a person do for love? And for hate?
What do you mean you don't know? Well, then who does? Who's on call here, you or me? Call your superior. What do you mean he's busy? Do you know who I am? Yes, I taught all you dimwits for 37 years. I fixed your elections. I was the one who faked everything for the mustachio man. I've never been afraid of anyone, and now you can't find my daughter. What the hell did I do that for? So that you can be rude to me? Hello? Oh, my daughter. Oh, forgive me. Forgive me, Mother. I don't want your pension. I don't want your job. Take back your stability. I and your flower garden. Take them all back. Just give me back my daughter. Give them back. Give us back our children.
When everything hurts, it feels like nothing hurts. It doesn't feel like blood seeping from a wound. Blood seeps from everywhere. Your skin bleeds like it's sweating. Because this is a battle that comes along once in every 100 years. I mean, a battle between good and evil where everything is totally clear. And I knew immediately that my life was over. And I knew that they would cover up my murder. Burn me in a crematorium, list me as missing, bury me in a forest, label me as suicide. Fuck them though. It won't help. Belarusians, they're a unique people. They'll put up with things forever, decades, a lifetime even. And then their patience pops. Belarusians have been insulted, and that kind of insult can't be defeated.
After all those nights in the prison van, the gym, and the prison, my dress was nothing like I'd bought. It's a dirty, tattered, white and red and white rag. The blood stain on it has darkened and it's covered in brown spots of vomit. Still, it is the most fabulous dress in the world. I wouldn't exchange it for anything. Here we are, standing in this cramped cell. And what marvellous people there are all around me. They're all so polite and smart. Microbiologists, teachers, musicians, actors, students. The woman who crawled into the police van after her husband and son. People snatched off the street. Journalists, priests, miners and lawyers, doctors and workers. These are the best people in the world. Belarusians. We are creating a new, true Belarus here in this cell. And we all feel the love. You can't defeat love. Isn't that so, universe?
Hello, my name is Svetlana Tikhonovskaya. I am the President-elect of Belarus. What are you willing to do for love?
Good morning, John. It's just after 6 o'clock in the morning in the Southern Hemisphere in Melbourne in winter here. Good morning.
Good morning. And how are you there? And sorry, we've had some technical problems.
Ending past couple of hours, and incredibly grateful for the work that you're doing, and bravo to yourself and to all the other participants who've really painted such a graphic picture of the issues going on over there. We are sadly in lockdown over here, so you have a very attentive audience amongst us early risers here in Melbourne.
So hopefully we're going to be able to play your video in a moment. So thank you very much for that. I'll just bear with me and I'll check. Well, let's see. But we may have to stop. I'll start it, but we may have to stop again.
Okay, dokes.
Here we go.
Greetings. Hello to everyone in London. We're here in We are thrilled with this beautiful company, Night of Broken Glass people. I'm Warren. Hi, John. To be part of this fantastic evening supporting the arts community of Belarus, and we have a great number for you. It's Courage Call, which is a battle cry for people of great courage everywhere. Over to you, Monica.
Ваше милый привет от нас в Австралии.
Courage calls to courage everywhere, and its voice won't be denied. Courage calls to courage everywhere, so stand firm with strength and pride. Courage calls to courage everywhere, and its voice won't be denied. Courage calls to courage everywhere, so stand firm with strength and pride. For hundreds of years we lived here in peace. For hundreds of years we were neighbors and friends.
For hundreds of years we lived in peaceful spirit. But in the blink of an eye, a comet was shattered.
Our bodies were beat, our bodies were battered.
In the blink of an eye, 'twas a battle for survival.
Intimidation, we had no rights. Discrimination, it was very short flights. Man's insane brutality, discrimination. Horror night, courage calls to courage everywhere,
Odwaga wola do odwagi święci.
and its voice won't be denied.
Jego głos nie może być odmówiony.
Courage calls to courage everywhere,
Odwaga wola do odwagi święci.
so stand firm with strength and
Weź tuć mocność i siła i duma.
courage calls to courage everywhere,
Odwaga wola do odwagi święci.
and its voice won't be denied.
Jego głos nie może być odmówiony.
Courage calls to courage everywhere,
Odwaga wola do odwagi święci.
so stand firm with strength and pride.
Weź tuć mocność i siła i duma.
Courage everywhere, and its voice won't be denied. Courage calls to courage everywhere, so stand firm with strength and pride. Courage calls to courage everywhere, and its voice won't be denied. Courage calls, so stand firm with strength and pride. So stand firm with strength and pride. So stand firm with strength and pride.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for an extraordinarily inspiring and moving and important evening. There's been some extraordinary contributions from a wide variety of people, and it's quite remarkable that people from so many different nations and so many different places have come together to make their contribution. We've had contributions from Russia, from Australia, from here and from all kinds of different nationalities. And it's really, really important right now, because what's going on in Belarus affects everyone. It's not just a crisis in Belarus, it's a crisis in the world, and we need to stand with those people. And as you saw that last video from Australia, this was about what happened to the Aboriginal people in Australia, and that was inspired by, it was also inspired by what happened to the Jews in 1938. In fact, one of the extraordinary things is that an Aboriginal was one of the few people to protest against Kristallnacht. He walked 250 miles across the bush to protest in 1938 at the German embassy, and that was the inspiration for that musical. So we have all these issues that we really need to fire up about. So I'm not going to say any more except to thank everybody for their extraordinary contributions, and I hope that we will meet again very soon. But we have one more addition who unfortunately arrived late, but she would love to play us out, and it's Irina Muha. She's just going to play us. She's a Ukrainian lady who plays an extraordinary instrument whose name I can't remember. And she will play us out, and then I'll say goodbye, if we can get her connected. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you very much.
John, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you, Irina. That's thank you very much indeed. Okay,
Yeah,
good
and,
night, everybody.
And let me thank everybody. I said so often today, tears in my eyes, and it went directly to the heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night, world. Good night from Sands.